In this video, I'm going to talk about energy. Have you ever wanted to feel so energetic that you're alive and you're experiencing the world with energy and enthusiasm, and you're able to public speak, you're able to work out, you're able to do whatever you want to do in this world with high energy? If yes, then this video is for you. I'm going to talk about how to have endless and sustained and motivated energy. And this is physical energy. This is not some emotional energy I'm talking about. So in this video, energy deep dive. So the first thing to notice and remember is energy is the foundation. Energy is the foundation. What do I mean by that? Anything you want to do, you want to crush it in your job, you want to be there for your significant other, you want to share your light with the world with public speaking and putting yourself out there in some other way. If that is the case, then it all assumes that you have a certain storewell of energy, that you're bustling with energy and you're bustling with the ability to be there for others or for your kids or your family or your parents. And so energy is the foundation of everything. Without energy, you might be a bit of a try-hard and you will eventually fail. That's like trying to run a car without putting fuel in it. It's not gonna work. So energy is the absolute foundation. And if you have never focused on energy directly, then my question to you is, what are you doing? Why are you ignoring the foundations? It is worth taking the time, no matter how busy you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter how influential you are and how much your time matters. If you don't focus on your energy, then I can guarantee you that you're not even working at 80% of your capacity, let alone 100. So energy is the foundation. So first point is sleep. If you thought I'm going to talk about exercise, I'm going to talk about nutrition, which I will, but the first point is sleep without a doubt. We are in this cultural transition from going from thinking of sleep as not very cool to going to thinking of it as profound and important for everything. I recommend the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and he talks about the science of sleep and how it's important for every single vital function of your body. So let's say if there's a new drug out there today which promises you better health, it promises you better digestion and better organ health, it promises you better focus and concentration, it promises you better mental health. Would you buy that drug? Now what if I said that drug was free? Well, my friend, sleep is that drug. There's tons of research done on sleep and it all points at it's nature's elixir. All animals sleep and so do humans, and it's evolved as this restorative phase where your learning consolidates, where the things you have memorized and learned, they become stronger, those connections in the brain. Your digestion system is prepared and rested also for the next day. The toxins in your brain are cleared, in your blood are cleared. So all of that happens at sleep. So please do not ignore sleep. Most people need 7 to 8 hours of sleep on average. So that's what I've written down here, 7 to 8 hours. Again, I'm not sure if you can read it. The second thing to be mindful of to get good sleep is light. Your brain has a part called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, fancy words, which is basically a part of your brain that keeps track of how light it is and adjusts chemicals in your body to match that. Most importantly in this case, cortisol, which is the stress hormone. Now when you're awake, the first thing in the morning, you need cortisol. You want to feel alive and energetic. But when you're sleeping, you want to tone it down. So when you're going to bed, ensure that you're putting lights off. Ensure that you are in a darker room. It's okay to read a little bit before you sleep and all of that, but at least 1 hour before, try to dim the lights. Do a digital sunset so that your brain thinks that, hey, okay, it's now time to sleep. Do at least half an hour before, try to avoid screens. All of that will improve your sleep quality. In my room, I have blackout blinds, so they just attach to the window and they cut all light out. Those blackout blinds help cut out light so that your sleep is not disturbed and you have more restful and restorative sleep. So light is number one if you want to sleep well. And the next one is temperature. So that's the second cue that the body uses to know when to fall asleep. So I think the ideal temperature is something like 16 degrees Celsius. Not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but so it's actually cooler than what you might think. The average room temperature is about 21, so it's actually cooler than what your room temperature on average should be or is. So things like, sleep mattresses with cooling functionalities help. Taking a shower before sleep helps. So sleep is number one. Your grandmother here, grandfather. Number two is nutrition. Eat well, eat better, eat healthier. And so again, I'm not going to stress too much on it. There's just so much pop culture on nutrition. But one thing I will say, and these are some tips that you may not hear elsewhere, is focus on the micronutrients. When you hear of nutrition, you just hear like protein. And that is good. That is good for exercise-based nutrition where you want to build up muscular function. That's where protein comes into the picture. But largely speaking, you want for sustained and stable energy, what is forgotten is micronutrients. And micronutrients are your B12, your omega-3s. So think about macronutrients as your carbs, fats, and so on. And micronutrients as omega-3s, vitamin D, vitamin B12, and a lot of cellular functioning, a lot of longevity, a lot of sustained energy actually comes from the micronutrients, immunity. So health is not just about being shredded. It's not just about having six-pack abs, although exercise and weights are quite important. But Michael Greger has this famous phrase which says, no point being shred if you're dead. So focus on the micronutrients because that's where the health benefits of nutrition are. That's where your body functions well from deep inside and not just raw calories that you might get from French fries. So instead of getting French fries or chips, you get broccoli and kale and spinach and greens and peppers and fruits and all of those things because they are high in micronutrients. They're high in anti-inflammatory compounds. Blueberries are amazing for brain health. So I have a podcast episode on nutrition which goes in depth. But the second point I'm going to stress is know your insensitivities. Know your insensitivities. It's okay if you can't see it, but all of us have certain insensitivities. Like for me, avocado is healthy, but it doesn't sit well with my stomach. I always get like weird cramps when I eat avocado. So I try to avoid it to some extent. I still eat it. I'm not allergic to it. So that is the other thing you might want to be careful of is know what you're allergic to, know what the body repels. And so a good tip might be to see a nutritionist, which I myself intend to do. So these are some things that we might forget, that we might be insensitive to something and we may be eating it every day like lactose or something like that, and that might create a lot of problem and take away a lot of your energy. And obviously the third point, you're going to expect this, the grandmother point. Well, it's not exactly a grandmother point, is it? More modern fitness guru point is exercise. You have to exercise. Why do we have to exercise? Because you can feel better. It leads to better mental health, which is obviously my main gig in life, but it also helps the body function better. There's evidence that strength training leads to a decline in neural atrophy. What that fancy pant word means is it leads to your nervous system being stronger with age. You don't get older, quote unquote, as quickly. Your nervous system is more resilient to aging. And you have better coordination and so on also. So that's why strength training and bodybuilding exercises like the gym sort of a workout, weight training is quite useful for neural atrophy. And also the mental health feeling of feeling strong in your body. What I would say is move every day. So even if you are not hitting the gym, or even if you're not cycling, which you should, and if possible do it, but even if you're not, at least move, especially if you're a knowledge worker, especially if you're like me who is sitting in front of a computer all day. It's so important to move and dance and move your body. That not only will lead to physical well-being, but it will lead to this emotional sense of energy as well, and people will like being around you. And the next point I've written is cardio plus weights. So these are roughly the two categories in which exercise falls under, and you want to hit both of those at least in a given week multiple times. So let's say 2 times a week would be a good way to go about it. So this could be running for cardio, this could be jogging, this could be sports, and so on and so forth. Weights would be gym or body weights and so on. And look, I'm not about being perfectionistic about it. I'm certainly not. But try to do whatever you like and try to do whatever that gets you moving, because that's where the emotional health benefits are. And finally, there's like a lot of miscellaneous things that you can do. So I've written like supplements, I've written sports, I've written jiu-jitsu, which I like to do and I'm not doing as much because of an injury. This public speaking, like speaking this camera is actually exhausting. You don't know how much it hurts. This is my 4th video actually in a row, and I actually did the 3rd video and I was like, oof, I'm done. And then I saw this video and I was like, oof. So public speaking in general is actually quite exhausting. So you can find very creative workouts. It doesn't have to be boring. You could do martial arts if you enjoy that. You could do salsa or bachata or tango or something like that if you enjoy that. You could do gymnastics. You could do ultimate frisbee. You could do football. So all of these are forms of exercise. Play is a form of exercise. So enjoy your exercises and enjoy your movement and enjoy your supplements, and you can take something on. Like I've done a whole video on supplements that you can watch, and there'll be some tips on that. So these are some basics, the fundamentals, I think, for endless and sustained energy. Forgive me if it was too obvious, but I also tried to sprinkle in tips that you may not get elsewhere, and maybe it is not that obvious. And for some people who just, maybe you're hearing supplements or you're hearing nutrition for the first time, then you have a whole area that you're going to benefit from, and you're going to learn from, and you're going to excel, and you're going to have awesome energies. You're going to get sick less perhaps, and you're going to show up with so much enthusiasm that people want to be around you, and you get things done, you're productive, and you live an awesome life. So this is Sankalp signing off. Check out my video on supplements. That might be useful. All right, take care.